Welcome to Recap King. In this video, we will explain El Gringo. This movie tells the story of a runaway police officer who is betrayed by his boss and brings millions of dollars to the Mexican border. He intends to hide in a dusty town on the Mexican border, where he also faces threats from the local sheriff, thugs, a drug cartel, and the pursuit of a former boss who continues to target him. Will he be able to face them all and finally clear his reputation? Let's find out in El Gringo. El Gringo begins with the story of a policeman nicknamed the Man, who is holding a drug cartel hostage in the trunk of his car. After detonating the car, he then took a bag containing $2 million. Despite being injured, he continued walking through the barren area, all the way to the nearest town. He hoped to get treatment for his wound and water to drink as he was very thirsty after walking quite a distance. Until finally, he saw 3 men who had a gallon of water, but one of the men was torturing a dog. Seeing that, the man tried to reprimand him, but they instead challenged the man to a fight. The man managed to beat the 3 of them despite being ganged up. Unfortunately, after the fight, the gallon of water he was after fell. He had to swallow disappointment because all the water was wasted. Then, he untied the tortured dog and continued his journey. He continued walking with the dog following him. The man arrives in a residential area in a small town called El Fronteras. There, a young woman named Flaca approached the man to snatch his bag. However, Flaca, who was not skilled in martial arts, could easily be defeated. Later, the man snatched the knife Flaca was holding and asked her to take off her shirt. After that, the man left Flaca and went to a cafe. He tried to call the waiter, but strangely, the waiter seemed to avoid him. They even seemed reluctant to sell food and drinks to him. He then left the cafe and entered a convenience store, but the cashier chased him away. Thirsty, the man finally came to a bar whose owner was a woman named Anna. The man wants to buy water for $100, but Anna refuses until the man has to put 5 of $100 bills. Only then was Anna willing to give him 1 shot. But Anna asks the man to drink it outside her bar. Elsewhere, a gangster leader named Culebra is inducting one of his new recruits by beating him up in an uninhabited building. Even Culebra ordered him to kill 1 man in order to officially become a member of the gangster. Not long after, Flaca came over to Culebra. She told Culebra about her failed attempt to rob a foreign man. Culebra responds by inviting Flaca to join his gang, so that she can get help from his men. But then, their conversation was cut short when a Sheriff Chief Espinoza came and dismissed them. Meanwhile, the man seems to be buying bus tickets. As usual, the clerk refused to serve him. Moreover, the bus that the man wanted to take was also not available. Confused because he didn't know where to go, he returned to the bar and chatted with Anna. From Anna, the man finally knows that the old woman selling bus tickets has lied to him. The bus that will depart to the location where the man is going will actually depart at 2 p.m. Unfortunately, it was now too late for the man to get on the bus. Anna, who always looked at the man's bag during the conversation, continued her story that the people in El Fronteras really hate foreigners. The man then begs Anna to let him sleep at the bar. Feeling sorry for him, Anna allows the man to stay in her barn for just 1 night. That night, while resting, the man recalled the events before coming to El Fronteras. At that time, he and 3 of his fellow police officers were ordered by his superior, Lieutenant West, to arrest a cartel dealer in the border area. When they arrived at a barren hill, they realized that this assignment was a trap. They were surrounded by so many cartel dealers that they were supposed to catch. The man swiftly took the gun from the trunk of his car. Unfortunately, all of his friends were shot dead instantly. The man himself managed to survive, although he was shot in the arm during the firefight. After killing all the cartel dealers, he brought a bag full of money as evidence. The surviving cartel dealer, he took hostage and put in the trunk of his car. When he woke up from his daydream, he saw Anna pointing a knife to his neck. Apparently, Anna had known the contents of the bag that was brought by the man. Anna is scared because she thinks the man is a member of a drug cartel. Therefore, Anna threw him out. Then she threw the man's bag out the window at the same time Flaca was passing in front of her bar. Flaca immediately took the money and ran away, but the man reacted quickly and ran after Flaca. Without looking at the road and in a hurry, Flaca accidentally bumped into someone, sending the bag flying. The man tries to get his bag back, but Culebra and his men get ahead of him. They even insulted the man by passing the bag one after another. Annoyed at being toyed with, the man beats them up, but their fight was stopped when Sheriff Espinoza came with a warning shot. Culebra, not knowing what was in the bag, returned the bag to the man and asked him to leave the city immediately. If the man doesn't obey, Culebra will kill him. Elsewhere, American cops, led by Lieutenant West, flock to a barren hillside that becomes the scene of a shootout between the man and cartel members. With the help of the forensic team, they examine the crime scene and the victims who died, and West eventually learned that one of the cops he framed had taken all the cartel money. Meanwhile, the man is still at El Fronteras, resting in front of Anna's bar. Seeing him, Ana then spoke to him and told him about El Fronteras. In the past, El Fronteras was a fairly developed city. Many tourists come to visit, until one day, gangsters and cartels rule the city. From then on, they did not allow foreigners to enter. Even the residents were forbidden to talk to or serve foreigners who came to the city. After telling the story, Ana let the man sleep outside her bar. The next morning, Flocka approached the man who was still asleep. She still hasn't given up on the money. Realizing his bag had been stolen, the man immediately gave chase, but soon he fell because Flocka had tied his leg. After untying his legs, the man climbed onto the rooftops of the residents' houses to see where Flocka had gone running. Flocka was seen opening the contents of the bag in the middle of the road. She was beyond shocked to see the money in the bag. But a moment later, the man pushed Flocka. As a result, the money was scattered on the street and a commotion ensued because the locals had come to see what was happening. The incident also reached the ears of Sheriff Espinosa after Culebra complained about it. Espinosa then ordered Culebra to kill the man and take the money. At the police station, West is trying to convince his boss that the murder of the 3 cops and cartel members was the work of the man, because he was after the money. West asks his superiors for permission to hunt down the man. Moreover, he was from Mexico, so it would be easy for him to catch the man. The man himself is now waiting for the bus, when suddenly Culebra's men come to kill him. The man snatches a gun from one of Culebra's men and shoots them dead. But Culebra's men, who were quite a lot, kept coming. Because of this fight, the man missed the bus he was going to take. On the other hand, Espinosa, who finally knows that the man is not a random person, decides to send his men directly to hunt down the man. In his office, Espinosa is seen preparing weapons to hunt down the man. The man himself is still involved in a fight with Culebra's men, who are constantly chasing him. In the middle of the fight, Flocka sneaks up and grabs the man's bag. She escapes, but is chased by the man. The man warns her that Culebra's men will kill her if she takes the bag. However, Flocka refused to hand over the bag. She would even climb walls to escape, but suddenly, Culebra came while pointing a gun at them. When Culebra was about to shoot Flocka, who was still climbing the wall, the man threw a knife so Culebra's shot missed, and only hit Flocka's leg. But after that, Culebra managed to shoot the man's hand. Luckily, before Culebra shot the man in the head, Ana hit Culebra on the head with a brick. She then took the man to her place to be treated. The next day, Flocka asks why Culebra wants to kill her. Culebra reasoned that Flocka was not part of his group. If Flocka wanted to be part of the group, she had to kill one man. Flocka was very disappointed to hear Culebra's answer, and she then left, holding back tears. After that, Culebra went to Ana's bar and asked Ana to hand over the foreign man she was helping. Culebra threatens that he will kill Ana and set her bar on fire. The man who heard the commotion outside the bar immediately helped Ana. However, West, who had been behind him at gunpoint, asked him to turn himself in. The man uses this opportunity to question West's motives for trapping him and his 3 comrades. West replied that the man and his 3 colleagues were too honest in their duties, so they often interfered with West's dirty business. Later, West takes the man to the sheriff's office, where he asks the sheriff to keep the man in a prison cell. After that, he gave the bag containing the money to the sheriff. The sheriff then divided the money and ordered West to buy drugs from the rest of the money. The next day, Culebra came to the sheriff's office to inquire about the man. Espinosa said that Culebra could kill him, as long as it was slow. Culebra, who is happy to have the opportunity to kill the man, is shocked when he sees that the prison cell is empty. It turns out that the man escaped through the window. After escaping, the man steals a car to chase West, who has left the city. A car chase ensued, until finally, the man crashed into West's car and hit the border wall. The border guards who saw the incident did not want to interfere. They immediately fled. West rushed to get a shotgun and looked for the man in his car, but he couldn't find it because the man was standing behind him while pointing a gun. Desperate, West offered to share the money he brought with the man. He threw the money bag at the man, but the man, who was already disappointed with West, ignored him and shot West dead. That night, at El Fronteras, Ana has been captured by Culebra and brought before the sheriff for conspiring with the man. Even Culebra's men burned Ana's bar as well. When Ana was about to be executed, the citizens of El Fronteras came in groups. And in the midst of the crowd, the man walked while distributing money to the residents. Seeing the residents sided with the man, Culebra's men dropped their weapons. Culebra still hasn't given up. He then slipped through the crowd to kill the man. But his action was thwarted by Flocka. She stabs Culebra before Culebra can harm the man. Seeing what Flocka did, the man thanked her. He then approached Ana, who was lying unconscious in front of the bar. But at this moment, Espinosa suddenly hit him from behind, sending the man to the ground. Luckily, when Espinosa was about to shoot the man, the dog that was saved by the man bit Espinosa's hand. The man immediately grabbed the gun that had fallen from Espinosa's hand and shot him. But Espinosa wasn't dead yet. He took out his spare gun and pointed it at the man. Anna swiftly grabbed a knife and threw it. The knife hit Espinosa in the chest, killing him. At the end of the film, the man takes Espinosa's badge and hands it to Anna. Everyone who witnessed it cheered. They agreed that Anna would be their new sheriff. Sometime later, Anna married the man and reopened her bar. Many foreigners arrived, and the city's economy grew. The message from this film is, even in an area that is out of nowhere, we may be able to find a place called home, especially if we meet our loved ones there.